Good morning, everyone. I would like to call to order the June 18th, 2026 MPO Governing Board meeting. Staff, if you can please call the roll.
At this time, I'm attending in person to respond with here when I call your name. Alternates, please state your name if you're representing an MPO board representative. As a reminder, please press your microphone button once to turn on and off. Steve Wilson. Michelle Gra. Here. Thomas Turkin.
Present.
Tom Markert.
Here.
Susie Diaz.
Here.
Jim Koretsky.
Here.
Christopher McVoy. Dana Middleton.
Here.
Bev Smith.
Here.
DeAndre Poole.
Here.
Greg Wise is excused. Joelle Flores. Marcy Woodward.
Here.
Sarah Baxter is excused. Bobby Powell.
Here.
Bruce Guyton.
Here.
Jeff Hamara.
Here.
Christy Fox. Joseph Paduzzi.
Here.
Michael Napoleon. Yvette Drucker.
Here.
Thank you. Additionally, I have the following members asking to participate remotely due to extenuating circumstances. Village of Wellington Mayor Michael Napoleon, at City of Green Acres Council Member Susie Diaz.
Board members, are there any objections to allowing these members to participate remotely? Seeing none, these members are approved to participate remotely. Ruth, please note their attendance in the minutes. And I have any objections? No. Right, so we've established a quorum.
Yes, Madam Chair.
All right, with that, if we can all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Are there any modifications to the agenda?
No, Madam Chair.
Oh,
Woodward, second.
perfect. Do we have any general public comments?
No, Madam Chair.
At this time, I would like to invite any board members to comment on items not already on the agenda. Does anyone have any comments? I have a few comments. I just wanted to share. I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, I participated in the Autonomous Vehicle Day. Thank you, Commissioner Woodward, for being present. It was hosted at BRIC in Boca Raton. There was almost 400 or 500 folks there with all the latest technology. As you all know, some of us are in pilot programs with autonomous vehicles. The city of Boca Raton just extended their pilot in the downtown, and we're looking for other areas. In addition, I've been invited to participate next week at Miami TPO on a Safe Streets Cinema. Florida and particularly Miami-Dade County rise on pedestrianism fatalities due to bicycle and cars. So we're going to have an incredible panel. If anyone's interested, I'm sure that Valerie could share that information and you could sign up. It's going to be down in Miami at the James L. Knight Center. And in addition to that, maybe Ruth, for later, you could find my notes from yesterday. And also, the city of Boca Raton yesterday received a $2 million grant from Congressman Moskowitz's office, and not his office, but an appropriation through his office for a railroad crossing our guard on Jeffrey Street. So that's a really important thing that also happened yesterday in the city. And then I'll have more comments later because I did my notes and they're not here. They're in here. All right, but I won't hold up the meeting. Oh, here they are. To make sure I just didn't miss anything. Okay, nope, good memory still. All right, so with that said, we're going to move on to the Dump the Pump proclamation, and I'm going to go ahead and read the proclamation. Sorry. Oh, sorry, I didn't see that because I don't.
Too many things.
Thank you. Sorry, just wanted to let a quick update for Tri-Rail that the funding has been restored course, the budget's not final till June 30th. We all know there's a veto process that could happen. But as of right now, it was fully restored at 60 million, which we were like bare minimum requesting 49 just to keep the line open. So the 60 million also helps us with some operations as well. So good news, all efforts that went into helping us get that. Just want to thank you all. And we have about 2 weeks to make sure it stays there. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Woodward. Anybody else? Any other comments for the board? All right, so now we are going to go and have the dump the pump proclamation, and I'll go ahead and read this. If you bear with me 1 minute. Declaring June 18th, 2026 as Dump the Pump Day. Whereas the public transportation is critical in transporting essential workers, reducing traffic congestion, and creating cleaner air. And whereas the American Public Transportation Association brings together hundreds of transit providers each year to raise awareness and encourage everyone to dump the pump. And whereas PalmTran, working closely with the Palm Beach Metropolitan Planning Organization, provides 28,000 rides daily and encourages everyone to use the promo code Transit 2026 in their Paradise Pass app from June 14 to June 14th to the 20th to ride for free. And whereas the South Florida Regional Transportation Authority, operator of Tri-Rail, served more than 4.5 million riders during both calendar year and fiscal year 2025, and has continued to experience strong ridership growth in 2026, including record-breaking weekend ridership driven in part by special train service provided for soccer fans traveling to the new stadium. And whereas the Palm Beach Metropolitan Planning Organization has prioritized approximately $20 million over the next 5 fiscal years to make transit more accessible, provide new vehicles and train sets, and bus and train infrastructure for countywide service and the South Florida region. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the governing board of the Palm Beach Metropolitan Planning Organization, assembled in a regular session the 18th day of June 2026, that June 18, 2026 in Palm Beach County is hereby proclaimed Dump the Pump Day. Be it further proclaimed by the governing board of the Palm Beach Metropolitan Planning Organization that this proclamation is duly sealed, written, and executed by the chair of this board, Valerie Nielsen, MPO Executive Director, and yours truly, Council Member Yvette Drucker, your MPO Chair. Thank you. And now if we could all rise to take a picture in the front. You want to do comments now?
Oh.
The
County has a very similar, I'm not going to read it because it's almost the same, but the county has a proclamation for this as well.
Thank you, Commissioner Woodward. And if everyone can come up right here, we're going to pause for a minute and just take a photo. Thank you for being here. Here they are. We're going to go back a little bit side page. Everybody okay? Closer, closer. Okay. We're trying.
One more. Smile, 1, 2, 3. Perfect, thank you.
Okay, now let's go. Carly. Guys, thank you, everyone. I know.
There's a last Monday, so still 2 votes. Oh, it's just the beginning. Oh, never mind. So it's on consent, I guess.
Yeah, it wasn't touched like the backup, but we can just make sure that we should sign
I guess we're just going through the process here. Again, we're calling for any comments from the chair, member comments. I've already provided some of my comments. If anybody has any updates from their cities or anything they want to discuss at this point that's not related to the agenda. All right, so moving right along, I'm going to turn it over to our Executive Director, Valerie Nielsen, to provide the Executive Director's report.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. June is our last month of our fiscal year that we operate under, so we're excited to be wrapping up. I also want to welcome our new alternate Vice Mayor Turkin from the city of Boynton Beach. So thanks for joining us today. So June is National Safety Month, so you may be seeing some campaigns, some information out there, but the goal is to raise awareness about safety and explore workplace safety and transportation safety, of course. So we have a link there for some resources. Also want to mention, I'm really proud of our staff. We were honored to receive a special recognition award at the Safety Council of Palm Beach County's 40th Annual Traffic Safety Awards. So we're really happy about that. And then in front of you, we've developed, this was one of our goals for this year, but we developed a 5E toolkit. So basically, this is just some suggestions and some resources at the end of things like a checklist of things that we hope that you will explore with your local governments, your municipalities and the county, things you can do to advance safety under the 5 E's of engineering, education, and encouragement, enforcement, and evaluation. So please take a look at it. It's also available on our website. We have the link here, and let us know if you have any questions, if we can help in any way, because it takes a village, a whole county to move safety forward. So wanted to share that with you. Also, we have a lot of interactive tools on our websites to provide input, to explore what's happening with transportation in your area. And we've created some videos so that you can watch them. They're brief videos, but how to navigate those tools. So check those out as well. And you can find those on links here at tutorials, but also more resources on our website. Our chair mentioned the Safe Street Cinema. So this is an event happening in Miami. She'll be speaking with other elected officials from Miami-Dade County on pedestrian and bicycle safety. And so we're really excited to have her there. If anyone would like to join, there's the link. And please let me know. There is a registration fee, but we'd love to have more board members join us as well. And then just wanted to share, there is a funding opportunity from the Bloomberg Initiative for Cycling Infrastructure. It's for cities and local municipalities, open through September 14th. And it's a 2-phase program designed to help cities move cycling infrastructures forward from planning to implementation. So if you're interested, please check it out. And just a reminder, the Countywide Transportation Master Plan is ongoing. If you want more information on how to get involved, pbcmoves.com. And please continue to stay informed and get involved, participate in our events and the resources we share. Hopefully you're all getting our newsletter, but also we have things on our website under participate. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Any questions for our Executive Director? Mayor Hamera.
Thank you. And I just wanted to respond to one of the items that you mentioned, and that's our countywide transportation master plan. Yeah, we did have a meeting with the developer, the consultant, actually, on June the 5th online. It was about a 2.5, 3-hour meeting, actually, and that was the executive committee overseeing it with the horrible acronym MCFIC. And it was also the issues forum, and it probably had about 50 people involved in the meeting. It was a good update, good comprehensive update. And if you want to know the details, the PowerPoint slides are at pbcmoves.com. And so I suggest that you do that. Stay abreast, find out what's going on. One of the interesting features that I've seen, and there's things that certainly need some improvement in the way things have been done up to this point, and they seem to be paying attention and getting better, they being the consultant, as we offer comments and that type of thing, whether it be at a IPARC 2.0 meeting or as a result of a meeting like the one we had on June the 5th. One of the things that I see is there is a deliberate and pretty effective outreach effort ongoing. And so one of the ways that the public can weigh in is, of course, these public meetings. There were 13 of them actually done at the very beginning, and there are going to be 4 more done in June and July. I think the one that's nearest to us right now will be July 1st, and it's at Mounts Botanical Garden, otherwise known as the Hutchinson. I can't remember the rest of it. But in any case, there are opportunities not only for the public to become informed, which is really important, and then provide some input, their personal experiences, but also for those of us who don't attend those meetings on a regular basis to find out what's going on. They're coming up with some very specific results. The other thing I think that's interesting about their approach is they wind up giving those of us who are kind of on the government side of this thing homework assignments. And we had a homework assignment. It had to do with 11 categories of policies to be developed in order to effectively implement the plan when it's finally done. The one response that I thought was most appropriate was we kind of had that sense of those 11 categories, maybe not exactly. What we need is more specific recommendations as to what kinds of policies we ought to be adopting in those areas. Most of them are going to be countywide, but also county driven. But there are some in there that can be informative to those of us at municipal level. A lot of good stuff going on. The best thing is the conversation, the dialogue, the activity, the interaction, and I still remain hopeful. So I think it's good. Please stay up to date and check out some of these public meetings. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Hamera. Mayor Koretsky, you're recognized.
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to comment on this 5E toolkit. I just was able to scan through it quickly. I think it's phenomenal. Thank you very much for providing it. And like anything, you do something, you can always turn the wheel on it. So I just wanted to share something that we do in Jupiter that has proven to be successful is once a year, we have both our engineering staff and our police to report to us both the most overcrowded and problematic intersections, and then where the accidents are happening, whatever. So that gets presented to the council. We're all aware of it. We dialogue about it. It also helps us to recognize the need to fund. When we started that, which was a long time ago, it wasn't a natural for engineering to necessarily talk to police. They just didn't think about it. They think I'm an engineer too, right? So you just think, well, gee, I know. But that for our communities, that is really critical. And then the other thing is, if you were to apply this to e-bikes, for example, it quite doesn't work because, something will just come out of left field, new technology, whatever, and then everybody's stuck with it. And I know we've all been dealing with that, but it brings up the one item is we find that, both our police and code compliance staff, they can only enforce what's on the books. And we're constantly reminding them that if there's something else that we can legislate locally to help, please let us know. Because otherwise there are cases that go on in perpetuity because based on how something is designed and how, the laws are, nothing can be done. So just the teamwork between police and engineering on public safety, and transportation systems is critical. And then secondly, just the continuum of awareness of maybe the need to legislate even at a local level. So I just share those points, not as a criticism, but this prompted that by just looking at it. So I'm going to make sure our staff has this. This is great. Thank you.
Thank you for those comments. Any other members have any questions for Ms. Nielsen? Okay. All right. So moving right along. So our next item on the agenda is a motion to approve the consent agenda item. Before we do that, let me give you a little history here. So yesterday, the MPO Executive Committee met. The MPO Executive Committee is comprised of myself, the chair, Vice Chair Michael Napoleone, Commissioner Woodward, Commissioner Flores, Commissioner Fox, and Valerie Nielsen. The Executive Committee meets usually once a year to review just different items that are going to come before the board. Most of the items that we discussed yesterday are coming before the board in July, and you'll get formal presentations. But one of the things that is on the consent agenda today, if you jump to GG, and I don't want to remove the item, I just want to have, be able to discuss it before we vote on it. It's really the fiscal year 2027 annual adjustment to the MPO employee salaries. And we all decided as a collective body that we would have Valerie Nielsen explain how we are funded. And the reason we want to do this is not only for full transparency, but because there's so much conversations among the county and the cities with the property tax reforms that are happening. And I thought it would be really important, and we all thought it would be really important for you to understand how we're funded, because we're a federal agency that is not funded by the counties or the cities. And our budget is approved 2 years at a time. So even though we're in 2026, this particular budget that we are going to approve today on this consent agenda for these salaries is 2 years ago, we as a body approved. So Ms. Nielsen is going to give you a high level how this body's funded for all of you out there that's listening, if there's any media out there, so you could understand how we're funded. We're not funded traditionally by the counties or the cities. So just more of an education point. Ms. Nielsen, I'll turn it to you.
Thank you, Chair. So yeah, just like all the other MPOs across the country, we're primarily funded through our federal transportation planning grants from the Federal Highway Administration, the Federal Transit Administration, and those funds ultimately come from the Federal Highway Trust Fund, and that's approved by Congress. So as the chair mentioned, we work on a 2-year budget, and in our approved budget, which for the next 2 years, if it's approved, it comes to our board, but it's also approved, but ultimately signed off and awarded by the Federal Highway Administration. What we've allocated for the 6% to include COLA and merit is part of that approved budget. So, and the COLA, the 4% is consistent with our national CPI trends nationally, as well as our regional trends, and this is consistent with our peer MPOs as well. So thank you for giving us the opportunity to explain that we are not, our grant and our compensation does not come from local tax dollars. So thank you.
Does anyone have any questions for Ms. Nielsen? I see your sign up, Mayor Koretsky. Is that from before?
Yep.
Okay, just making sure. All right, so if we have nothing else, I'm looking for a motion to
Madam
approve.
Chair,
Oh.
I do have one other agenda. I just wanted the record to reflect that the folks that abstained from voting last meeting, their memoranda will be incorporated into the minutes. And so I just wanted to make sure that's for the record. So whoever signs off officially on those minutes, I believe it's you, that I will make sure that those memorandum are appended to those minutes. That's it.
Okay, anybody have any Commissioner Flores, you're recognized.
Yeah, as part of item 1H7, which is the annual adjustment, part of that is our executive director, who I believe has done a tremendous job at the helm here since she's been on board. And this is kind of like where we reaffirmed that she's doing a fantastic job. And yesterday at the executive committee, we recommended also providing that the same COLA plus a 2% merit increase to our executive director. So I just wanted to put that on the record. I think she's done a fabulous job, and she probably deserves a lot more than what she's getting. But I think in the climate that we're at, it's the proper move at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Flores. Any other comments? All right, so I'm looking for a motion to approve the consent agenda items with the modification made by Mr. Collins and all the comments that and discussion that we had.
Woodward?
Second.
Moved by Woodward, second by McAvoy.
Boy.
And we need to just approve. Yeah, so any other, okay. So all in favor? Sorry.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, consent agenda passes. So now we're at the point
I'm
where
sorry, Madam Chair, can you confirm who seconded that motion?
McAvoy.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we're going to move on to action item 2A, motion to adopt the fiscal year 2027-2031 Transportation Improvement Program, also known as a TIP. Remember, we got the draft at our last meeting, and I'm going to invite Andrew Euler to come up and provide us some updates.
Good morning, everyone. So this is the second reading of the upcoming Transportation Improvement Program for 27 through 2031. So this is our 5-year programming of transportation projects with federal and state funds, which is going to start come this fiscal year, July 1st. Since our last meeting, there hasn't been any major revisions to the projects. There has been updates to our online mapping, so our staff has mapped all the projects and they're available on our online map. There's also been some updates to descriptions for products that we got from FDOT, just to make it more clear for the public. And so everything else you see today is the same. As a reminder, this MPO plans for the entirety of the county, so it's coordinating federal and state investments throughout Palm Beach County. We do, however, prioritize urban area formula funds, those federal funds within the urban area, and that's shown on the map here. Okay, so what you're approving today is countywide federal and state funds. So what is the Transportation Improvement Program? It's that 5-year work program. It's the list of products by phase and funding source, starting with fiscal year 27 to 31. We're currently operating under 26 through 30. And so this is 27 through 31. And then oftentimes we refer to the outer year, so 2031 in this case, as the new 5th year. The reason being is that the products that are in the work program and in our Transportation Improvement Program is really a schedule of different phases. It's following a pipeline of projects. And so those have various upcoming phases, for example, PD&E or design, right-of-way, construction, and they're moving through that pipeline. So as those products keep moving forward, you'll usually see the most available revenues in that outer year to start programming towards projects. That's why it's called the new 5th year. And this process to develop this Transportation Improvement Program is really a culmination over a year's worth of effort. We're always working towards the next one. In fact, next month, you're going to see the list of priority products for the next Transportation Improvement Program. And so this one we're adopting today starts with product development. So it starts with the long-range transportation plan and a call for projects and applications. So everything is fed out of a program in the LRTP or as line items from our LRTP, which is that 25-year vision. And so we receive the call for projects, specifically for our competitive grants. It's our Transportation Alternatives Program. So when applications are submitted, we review those. With AFDAT, we do site visits. We ensure they're feasible, and then they're ranked based on our vision in the LRTP. Those are then presented in the list of priority projects, which was adopted by the governing board in July of 2025. That then feeds into AFDOT's work program. So state priorities, our priorities are fed into there. They're balancing their budget. They're updating their cost estimates. And that's presented in a draft tentative work program, which was presented by the district secretary in October of 2025. After that's endorsed, we provide our review as a board. It's then built, and we build the Transportation Improvement Program on that final work program. And it's up for adoption today. So we separate our Transportation Improvement Program into various sections to make it easier to understand. We have our MPO priority projects, which I'll be commenting most on today. We then have the FDOT priorities and other products. The ones I'll be talking about today are the Strategic Intermodal System projects, the SIS. It also includes our airports, railroads, and seaport projects. There's also district-wide, District 4 FDOT projects. And then we have operations and maintenance of roadways and transit. And then we also try to do our best to bring in, for informational purposes, other locally funded products. So that's available as an appendices to the document, and it's also on our mapping site. So we try to have a culmination of all products when we can get them, so we know our vision into the future. The backup included the summary tables, and this is focused in the same format as our list of priority projects. So those ones that we have more of a direct prioritization over, and a few other ones that we're advocating for. And so in here, you'll see a year in priority, the location and descriptions, and then the common tip years, the new 5th year, and then any funding still needed. What you're seeing in this 5-year tip is 255 projects with $3 billion of federal, state, and turnpike investments in Palm Beach County. Major amount of that is turnpike toll revenues going towards turnpike capacity widening within our county. We're actually going to have a presentation by the turnpike next month to you all to go more into detail on all of those. Outside of that, we have $418 million in federal and state investment towards our MPO priorities. And that breakdown for our MPO priorities of that $418 million over the next 5 years goes towards roadways and capacity. So $249 million, that's State Road 7. It's finishing up Atlantic Avenue. So those are both widening extension projects that also include pedestrian bike facilities. $73 million in signals and intersections. 63 in roadway and pedestrian bike facilities. So those are complete streets, reconstructions, safer design of roadways, lots of pedestrian bike facilities on those. $20 million in transit vehicles and shelters, and then $14 million with other ones with lighting and safety. I'm just going to provide some updates that what we see in this new transportation improvement program when it comes to our MPO priorities. So there's dozens of other products within the tip, but just commenting on the updates. As I mentioned, that new 5th year, many of the new major products from our list of priority products is going into 2031. So that's going to be Forest Hill Boulevard lighting, bus stop, Congress Ave lighting and crosswalks. And then Palm Beach County has 2 signal products, flashing yellow arrows, which we've discussed before, and signal upgrades. And then we have a product on Indiantown Road, which is currently underway for PD&E. This funds design in fiscal year 28. So at Indiantown Road at Central Boulevard. Local initiatives. This is a program we had for our locals to submit to us, capped at $5 million per product. Finishing up this program, and it's being put into the prioritization of the major products. We had one outstanding product here to fund, and that's additional flashing yellow arrows within the county. And then transportation alternatives. So this is a competitive application process that locals can apply to. It's typically done by the locals, constructed by the locals, and they're reimbursed for construction up to $1.5 million. This is a little bit different of a program. It's a shorter time window with a smaller budget. So it's $1.5 million per product. And because there's smaller products and they're non-motorized focus, so pedestrian bike facilities and safety towards those, they don't require right-of-way. And so design starts in year 1 by the locals, and they get a construction in year 3. So in this program, it's going to be in fiscal year 29. So these 4 products are programmed in the new 3rd year, which is fiscal year 29. That includes Northeast 2nd Avenue, North Military Trail, Northeast 4th, and Kirk Road. An example of what's submitted to us for applications, and these all go through vetting just like this, is Palm Springs with Northeast 2nd Ave. It's going to add some bike lanes and sidewalks, but we get this submitted to us, so we get the concept plans. We get updated detailed cost estimates. We get local support shown for resolutions from the jurisdictions and the roadway owners. And then that's all vetted, ensured that we can move forward with these projects. And then they get into list of priority products and then programmed. Then some high-level updates on the intermodal system. $1.45 billion in turnpike capacity products. So major investment with turnpike revenues towards turnpike capacity products, and $112 million in I-95 interchanges, either new or modified. That's over the next 5 years. And so here's a visualization of what that looks like. Here's starting with north to south on I-95. And so it follows the fiscal years within the boxes there of the upcoming transportation improvement program. Just to note, construction underway or should be underway soon for North Lake Boulevard in 26. And then for 27, we see upcoming is Palm Beach Lakes Boulevard and Forest Hill Boulevard. Also noted on this screen is which ones of these are going to be the tight diverging diamond or a tight diamond interchange or a diverging diamond interchange. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Next is Turnpike. So again, major investment in Turnpike. They're going to be presenting next month. North to south, again, these are all mostly widening products instead of specific interchange projects. A lot of this is already under construction. So that's what was noted in the little construction cone. Upcoming, Okeechobee Boulevard to Beeline Highway. And then we have in 27, Glades Road to Atlantic Ave with the widening in 10 lanes. So that's my summary for you today. It's up for adoption today. It is a roll call vote. It's been up for public review since April 29th. So covers about 2 months. Again, in this update, there hasn't been any major changes from the last presentation last month. And I can take any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Staff, are there any public comments?
No, Madam Chair.
Does any board members have any questions or any feedback on the tip? Oh, okay, 1 second. McVoy, thank you.
I think I heard it go by, but just to make sure we're all clear, does this one include the State Road 7 going past Grassy Waters?
Yes, it does. It's programmed. Yeah.
Yes.
The widening and extension.
Any other questions? Okay, then I'll take that motion, Commissioner Flores.
Motion to adopt.
Second, Woodward.
Commissioner Flores first, Commissioner Woodward second, and can we please call the roll call?
Yes.
Steve Wilson is absent. Michelle Grau,
Yes.
Dana Middleton,
Yes.
Bev Smith,
Yes.
Bobby Powell,
Yes.
Bruce Guyton,
Yes.
Thomas Turkin,
Yes.
Tom Markert,
Yes.
Susie Diaz,
Yes.
Jim Koretsky,
Yes.
Christopher McVoy,
No, because of the inclusion of the aforementioned State Road 7 widening and along Grassy Waters.
Greg Wise is excused, Joel Flores,
Yes.
Marcy Woodward,
Yes.
Sarah Baxter is excused, Jeff Amara,
Yes.
Christy Fox,
No, due to the inclusion of State Road 7.
Joseph Paduzzi,
No, due to the inclusion of State Road 7.
Michael Napoleon,
Yes.
Yvette Trucker.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you, everyone. All right, so moving right along,
I'm
we're
sorry.
going to go to item B, motion to adopt amendment number 2.
Sorry, Madam Chair. DeAndre Poole, your vote?
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh. The motion passes. Okay, so moving right along, motion B, motion to adopt amendment number 2 to the Long Range Transportation Plan, the LRTP, and we'll invite Mr. Euler to also present this item.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So the second item today is the 2050 Long Range Transportation Plan, one of our other core planning products required of a metropolitan planning organization. And so this is going to be amendment number 2 to that for the 25-year planning document. It is originally adopted in December of 2024, but it is a living document. And so we make some updates every once in a while. So it's updated majorly every 5 years, but we're here doing an amendment today. This document really meets our federal and state requirements for that transportation planning process. So there's a lot of federal and state requirements to the type of planning emphasis areas and other activities you're required to have in an LRTP. And so this meets that. And then this guides our federal and state transportation investment. So looking at 25-year horizon, how we're going to invest the federal and state funds in our county. And this serves as the pipeline for the TIP development. So in fact, the first 5 years of the LRTP is the currently adopted TIP. In the backup today, we provided in the packets all the pages that were revised when it comes to these projects and these revenue sources. And then available online for everyone was also the major packet, the major document if you wanted to see the full thing. Just in summary of what the revisions are today, it's aligning with our current fiscal year 26 to 30 TIP. And so with that, it's updated revenue projections. One of the major updates for the revenue projections out for 25 years is our carbon reduction funds. And so carbon reduction funds was a federal funding pot formula given to MPOs to put towards reducing carbon emissions. It was a new program under the most recent 5-year transportation bill, the IIJA, the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. That bill does expire this year, and Congress is going through a new bill at this time. But the state of Florida pulled back their carbon reduction funds off projects and gave it back to the federal government. It's having about about a year and a half ago. Our tip has already been reflected in our past tip related to that. Our MPO received around $2.9 million a year to put towards projects for this pot of money. So that was covered by other state and federal funding sources statewide. And so all products will remain whole, but it was clawed back at the statewide level. And it was done in our prior tip. Now we're just updating formally our projections into the future for that. Also updating the cost feasible plan here. So you'll see some changes to products with that to align with our tip. And then we added new illustrative products. And then lastly, more of a clerical one was changing anything that had TPA mentioned to MPO. So the first larger one that was really document wide is the change in the time bands. When we first adopted the LRTP in December of 2024, we're operating under the 25 to 29 tip. Now we're updating to our current one and reflecting any revisions to projects on that. And so that impacts the first and second 5 years of our LRTP. And you'll notice that our 25-year document, our LRTP, has larger time bands than what you would see in our transportation improvement program. So it's in 5 or 10-year time bands, whereas our tip is 1-year time band. So this is a longer range planning document. And the larger part of the revisions, which I'll focus on today, is really to our product sections in our cost feasible plan and then our illustrative list. And so our cost feasible plan is based on projected revenues, known revenues that we will receive for the next 25 years, and then ensuring that we can fit products that are cost feasible in that. So ones that have cost estimates, they have good scopes, and that we're making sure we're balanced. So what we can actually achieve over the next 25 years. We then have an illustrative list, which are MPO supported priorities for federal and state investments, but maybe they're not cost feasible, meaning there may not be revenues available to fund those. They may not show operations and maintenance support long-term, so we really couldn't put it in the cost feasible list, or they may not have a defined scope or cost estimate yet. And so those need to be updated before they can be considered for the cost feasible plan. Those are 2 sections we're focused on today and what's in the backup for your approval. The other sections haven't been touched, but just to mention them, it's airports and seaports. So we put the products from our master plans within that section, and then ongoing maintenance responsibilities. And we try to note some of those larger maintenance projects when they come up. So for the cost feasible plan updates, they have been updated for both the strategic intermodal systems section and then also our MPO priority section with updated costs and phases based on the 26 through 30 tip, which is the one we're currently operating on. And then when you just adopted that 27 through 31, if any phases or larger phases are coming in, we ensure to include those as well. And then we added new products for the upcoming tip in 28 through 32. So next month, you'll see a new list of priority products. That's going to be the new outer year of 32. When we had our call for products for the LRTP and for our list of priority projects, we vetted those products. You're going to see a new list of draft products in there that includes 5 major products, which cover multiple modes, cars, some fencing on tri-rail, pedestrian bicycle improvements, and some resiliency projects, and then 7 transportation alternatives that were applied for. It doesn't mean that all these will be funding within this upcoming tip, but they are in there and they're in the pipeline now to move forward. And then lastly, we added a lot of illustrative projects, added 215 illustrative products for mobility and transportation plans. And so when we originally did the call for products, we received lots of products from you all and your departments. And we put those in the plan. More mobility plans and transportation plans have been adopted since that original adoption in December of 24. So we started incorporating those, and we have about 215 that we added to the illustrative list. Many of these are larger visions within your plans that don't have cost estimates, right? So we can't really put them in the cost feasible plan at this time, but we are showing our support for those as they are put in the illustrative list. So if your local municipality is trying to pursue those for federal and state funding, you have the MPO support and we'd help you in those efforts. But we also want to work with you all over the coming year to refine those scopes, get some detailed cost estimates in there so that we can then put it in the cost feasible plan and get it going through that pipeline. That's all I have for you. Just like the tip, it's been up on the website for comment. Review period for this one, it has been this month, so May 27th to June 18th, and it's up for final adoption today.
Thank you. Staff, are there any public comments?
No,
on this
Madam
item?
Chair.
Do we have any questions? I see a couple cards. I saw this one first over here. Commissioner McVoy?
Yeah, I just want to commend staff on adding things to the illustrative part, that recognizing they don't necessarily have funding at this point, but these are things that there is support for in the community. On a more specific one, you mentioned the carbon reduction funds, and this is then perhaps partly for the listening public and for us. We in Lake Worth Beach, as a coastal city, experience sunny day flooding already. We have people who are choosing to move out of the city because of sea level rise, flooding risk. We have difficulties with our stormwater drainage because of intensifying rainfall, all things related to climate change. So I'm curious, could you give us a little more understanding of what changed? I think you mentioned that funding, maybe it doesn't, the exact source changes, but we're covering it other ways. It's just a topic that, you know, is very closely tied to transportation. So I'd be interested to a little fuller explanation on that.
Sure. The carbon reduction funds, the federal level, the eligibility towards those is pretty wide. It's very similar in a lot of ways. It can go towards non-motorized transportation. It could also go towards intersection projects that would reduce congestion. So it could go to truck parking. There's a lot of things that it could go towards. So when this first came out, the transportation bill, the IIJA, we had originally sort of put on similar products on our priority list that would go towards non-motorized transportation. So that's sort of how we use it. It's $2.8 million a year that we had direct say over. So they were going on the same products on our priority list. And then outside of that, with this clawback, you know, the AFTOT work program staff was able to balance it out with other funding availability from the state. As a whole, I don't know what percentage of carbon reduction funds was at the statewide level, the total budget, but you know, for AFTOT, only 25% of their funds are federal. So this was a small drop in the larger bucket. So I think they were able to balance that way. I'm not sure if that answers all your question. We didn't have like a specific program set up at the time for carbon reduction because it was a new program. And I think MPOs were working towards those. But we had a lot of products on our list that were already eligible at the time, and they went towards that.
And if I can add, so this, as Andrew, that was a great explanation, but we used to not have these funds. And then under the Biden administration, it was like, hey, you get new funds. So then we added it to, as Andrew mentioned, there was projects like that carbon reduction for active transportation, current projects that we already have going on that could use a little help of funds because they have shared use paths or other things happening. So we kind of dispersed them around the projects in our current work program. Now that new pot of funding is canceled. So luckily, with working with the Department of FDOT, they've been able to make that whole. So it was like new funds we got, and then they got taken away, but it all balanced out. So that's a little bit of the history of these CAR-U funds.
Mayor Koretsky?
Yes, preface my comment or my question. First of all, I appreciate staff, MPO staff. For small staff, you do a great job trying to cover everything. Certainly you're human, so things can be missed. But so I have a question about one. I believe I may have been the only member of the board to not have approved the long-range transportation plan. And I didn't because there was a road segment missing. And I'll just speak to it. And maybe I'm missing it in here, and I'm hoping it's in here now. But in 2019, 2020, FDOT, on their own, without any request from anybody, did a study on Palm Beach County and concluded that Indiantown Road between Central Boulevard and Center Street was the most overcapacity roadway, most congested roadway in the county. And then they embarked on a study to come up with alternatives, came up with an alternative that they themselves concluded had a benefit cost ratio of 7 to 1 beneficial. that wasn't included in here. That was the reason why so there's a cost, there's a benefit, and it was all initiated by FDOT. I'm not seeing it in here. So perhaps I missed it, but if it's still not in here, then I'm going to oppose this item, and I hope someday it'll get corrected and added in here.
I can comment that the Indiantown and Central, all the phases for that specific product that's just currently going through PD&E are now showing with phases for right-of-way and construction. So that's all in the cost schedule plan now. And then the auxiliary lane product that's already ongoing is there. The other ones that are on Indiantown Road, which you're probably referring to, is in the illustrative list still. So it's
I don't
still
see it
supported.
there.
It's not in the backup because I didn't add the full illustrative list. I only added the new ones. It's still hanging out in the main document illustrative list, which is the PD&E study for Central Boulevard to Maplewood Drive, if that is the one you're referring to. It's not going to be in your backup, but it is in the document online.
Was that in Amendment 1?
It was in the original adoption for illustrative list.
In the original adoption? Okay.
But it's not in the cost feasible list, right? So there's been no movement on it at the time.
And I don't know how anything ever gets in cost feasible then. I mean, it was cost justified by FDOT 7-to-1 benefit cost ratio. They identified it.
Andrew, to clarify, there's multiple projects that are on Indiantown Road or requests, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Some of those are already are in the cost feasible list. One of them is still in the illustrative list. So basically, it's still in line for funding, but not funding committee yet. But others are moving forward, other requests of Indiantown Road.
Correct.
Is the current status? Okay.
Okay, so after, on the outside of this meeting, I'd appreciate it if you could get me the documentation. I'm going to vote on the assumption of what I just heard, that it's in there. It just isn't in this copy. But please send me that so I can feel more comfortable than I do right now.
Sure. And to clarify, it is in the illustrative list. So no funding committed on it for the next 25 years, but it's in that list. Indiantown Road from Central Boulevard to Maplewood Drive.
And Andrew, I'll just mention, because part of the reason we're doing this update today is we're required to update the long-range transportation plan every 5 years. So we adopted it in 2024, but we're going to try and keep it a living document. So as projects start becoming funded, or we know that they're committed for funding, or we know that there's new projects that we weren't aware of, we want to do at least once a year an update so we reflect that. So just because it's not, it's still on the list, because at a certain point, there's only so much we can fund based on everything that's already committed. And then there's all the rest that are in line. So at a certain point, those start moving up. Right now, under our major project list, the biggest projects that are taking up a lot of the funds are State Road 7 extension and widening and Atlantic Avenue widening. So unfortunately, we're kind of held up a little bit on that. But I just want to point that out, that we're going to be updating this annually to reflect any changes. For example, County Road 880 was on the illustrative list. We had to amend it last time to move it to cost feasible because now money's been committed to. So once we know money's committed, we'll update it and move it to the next list.
Well, just to follow up then, it just really boggles my mind because FDOT, now I know year to year, which is the number one most congested roadway can change. It changes every year, but it was the most congested roadway. FDOT did a several year study, including conceptual design and benefit cost analysis. For this to be not even be in the 2050 plan is something that is recognized to be cost feasible. To me, it boggles the mind that it's just being called illustrative. So they gave us that analysis, and we're going to sit here saying, well, gee, 24 more years out, it's not yet justified that project is ever going to be done. Just disappoints me greatly, but thank you.
Any other comments for staff? Do you have another comment, Mr. McVoy? Go ahead, you're recognized.
Just for the record, I would be more than happy to give up some of the State Road 7 widening funding to transfer it to Indiantown Road.
I second that.
Okay, well, that is not a discussion for today. So I'm looking, any other comments before we move to a motion to adopt? Okay, so can I get a motion to adopt the amendment? Motion by Commissioner Powell. I heard a second from Commissioner Flores. All those in favor?
Aye.
Oh, is this a roll call? Well, it's not on here. Okay, thank you for the clarification. So can staff please take the roll?
Steve Wilson is absent. Michelle Groff,
Yes.
Thomas Turkin,
Yes.
Tom Markert,
Yes.
Susie Diaz,
Yes.
Jim Koretsky, Christopher McVoy, Dana Middleton,
Yes.
Bev Smith,
Yes.
DeAndre Poole,
Yes.
Greg Wise is excused, Joel Flores, Marcy Woodward,
Yes.
Sarah Baxter is excused, Bobby Powell,
Yes.
Bruce Guyton, Jeff Hamara,
Yes.
Christy Fox,
No.
Joseph Paduzzi,
No.
Michael Napoleon,
Yes.
Yvette Drucker.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, everyone. So now we're moving on to information items. Are there any partner agencies that wish to provide an update? Anyone? Come on up. Please state your name and your partner agency.
Good morning, Madam Chair, board members. My name is Lynn Johnson. I just wanted to introduce myself. I will be serving as the interim executive director for Palmtran. And I just wanted to come and say, nice to meet you all. And if there's anything that we can assist, please let myself. We have our team here, Deborah Posey Blocker, as well as our Chief Operations Officer, John Lockhart, to assist in any way possible. Thank you.
Thank you and welcome. Any other partner agency wishing to provide updates? Okay, is there any public comments on partner agencies?
No, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Do any board members have any questions for our partner agencies? Okay, so moving right along, administrative items have been provided as information to the board and there's no staff presentation on these items. Again, our next board meeting is going to be on July 16th. If no other matters are coming before the governing body, thank you everyone for your time today and the meeting is adjourned at 10:32.